All right, so breaking news right out of the SCA merger with Seven West. The CEO of SCA, John Kelly, has officially stepped down from his role as CEO as the newly merged SCA and Seven West media companies resume their stock exchange trading today. That's big news. He's been the CEO for a while of Southern Cross Australia, who owns Triple M and the Hit Network, including Today FM in Sydney. Jeff Howard will be paid $1.25 million in his new CEO role. I believe he was the managing director of Seven West, and he's now taking over as CEO of the two new companies. And that's interesting because, of course, the CEO of TV, we've seen something similar over at ARN with Michael Stephenson, who has a TV background, and that's more interesting. Well, I guess that's sort of the breaking news out of radio today this morning. In other news, not so big news, I believe that SEN has completed its sale of the Perth Wildcats. The Perth basketball team was sold earlier. And it was sold to entrepreneur Mark Arena, and he has full control of the company. And of course, SCN, of course, they have the many different radio assets, more narrowcast, just like Kicks Country around the whole of Australia. And of course, we have not much going on in the radio industry right now. All the big players do return on Monday, the 19th of January. I know a few, like Tim Webster is back already. A few regional markets have returned. But yeah, not much going on at the moment. Now, as of last episode, we were still talking about the some of the changes for ARN with the Gold 1323 switching over from Cruise 1323. And I'm really excited for that to happen because, to be honest, Cruise has been a run on a shoestring budget, just like 4KQ. And it doesn't have any local presenters as far as I'm aware, or local permanent presenters. Craig Huggins does it from Melbourne, and I believe Bilko does it from somewhere else regionally, from what I understand. And of course, they only have Jam Nation, which airs weeknights from 5 to 6, Jonesy and Amanda. And that's, of course, the highlights package. It'll be interesting to see whether or not they do decide to use the 3 to 6 Jonesy and Amanda drive time slot. And I do know that I believe it will be hosted regionally as well, aired regionally from 4 to 7, just like Will and Woody's delayed an hour on the KISS Network stations and the regional KISS Network affiliated stations. And that'll be interesting because the regional stations that follow the more older hits, for example 4CA in Cairns or 2EC, for example, those sort of stations, not the hit format. But they usually follow. They usually have local afternoon or sometimes local afternoon presenters, and they just follow the nighttime slots like Jam Nation for 1 hour, as well as Christian O'Connell highlights for 1 hour. But it'll be interesting to see the the drive show of Jonesy and Amanda, and it's nice that the Gold Network finally has a drive show. I don't think they've had a drive show since Jono and Dano back. Gosh, this would have been about 15 years ago, actually. So it's nice to see that they're sort of expanding the Gold Network. All they need now is a nighttime show, which the KISS Network does have this time with Smallsy and Lowy, which will be exciting because I'm excited to see them finally going back to the KISS Network. It's exciting to see them have live lineups from 6 a.m. all the way until 12 a.m. So that'll be interesting to see how it all pans out. Of course, the ratings don't really calculate the 3 to 4 slot for Smallsy, but the 7 to 9 slot should be measured, I believe, as well as Lowy should be measured in the nighttime slot. And of course, weekends continue with Chris Page and Amy Gerard, as far as I'm aware. And I did meet both of them when I did my work experience, and very nice people, so I do love their show a lot. But yeah, so I did see that on 4CA's website. 4 to 7, you can see a drive with Jonesy and Amanda. I believe that's a mistake. It's the only website on ARN Regional that actually did post drive with Jonesy and Amanda. So I guess that's sort of a little leak. Not too much big news because I guess that sort of was known already. But I didn't know that it was going to be put on regionally. So that was interesting. Maybe other people did know that, but I didn't. But so all the big players, Monday, January 19th. In the ARN network, we're looking forward to seeing Smallsy, Lowy, Robin Kipp and Corey Oates do return. That was honestly one of the best moments to end off 2025. I think that was great for Brisbane. They were very loved. And of course, Robin Bailey has been with 97.3 for most of her career. Before I believe she was axed a few years back, went over to Triple M, went back to 97, Kiss 97.3 as it's now known. But yeah, so that's, I guess she's been around there for a very, very long time. She knows the audience well. And of course, Kip has been around on Brisbane Airways before. He was at Nova. And of course, Corey Oates, of course, with his NRL. And he brings experience in sport. And of course, that's great to see. What else we got in the Gold Network? Of course, we got Christian O'Connell debuting in all 5 capital cities. I'm still a bit confused of how that's going to work in Perth because I didn't see them have a DAB station in Perth for Gold. I know they just had Gold 96 FM, which they just rebranded. And it'll be interesting to see how they do that, whether or not they do that earlier in the day, later in the day. Because I know Lisa and Russell are from 6 to 9 on breakfast. Maybe they will, because Perth, of course, 3-hour time difference. Maybe they'll do it Christian O'Connell show from 9 to 12. But of course, that means Smiley or good old Smiley. He's great. I really do hope Smiley does stay. But of course, cost cutting in these times, all networks are doing it, not just ARN. Don't worry. But in the Hit Network, not much. Jimmy and Emma. Sorry, Nathan Emma. What am I talking about? Nathan Emma do start. Jimmy did resign towards the end of 2025. And I believe SAFM does have one extra person joining making it a trio. And over in Perth again, I believe that ABC is switching over to FM. So that's a big news. Of course, the ABC is more known for DAB and AM these days, but FM will be nice. So I guess you can have that clearer listening for the few listeners that they have. Anyway, that's your Biz Audio update for Thursday, January 8th.